Welcome to Growing Older, Living Younger, the podcast that will help you discover your personal roadmap to staying healthy, happy, and vibrant as you age. With your host, international speaker, author, and dance and doc extraordinaire, Dr. Gillian Lockitch.
Welcome to the Podapalooza 2025 edition of Growing Older, Living Younger, the longevity podcast that empowers you to take control of how you age so you can age youthfully and live younger longer. In this episode, we're looking at achieving purpose-driven clarity and how the words we choose to describe our mission and purpose can deeply impact not only our business, but our legacy. With me today is Rich Kozak, a globally certified branding strategist and mentor with nearly 50 years of experience helping individuals and businesses define and language their brands with clarity and purpose. After decades working with international firms, Rich now focuses his energy on helping heart-centered entrepreneurs like me, experts and authors, aligned top-level umbrella brands, and write books that express their impact with precision and power. So, Rich, welcome.
It's a blessing to be here. Thank you for having me. We're going to have some fun here. And I think what happens here will be a blessing to those who get to listen to it. I really do.
Well, that's great. And I'm delighted to have you here. So, Rich, you've had a remarkable journey from global branding consultant to a strategic mentor for individuals. So can you tell me a little bit about what inspired that shift? A little bit about your journey. You just mentioned that you're an organic chef. And how does your own brand reflect the clarity that you help others achieve?
Those are great questions. I'll do the history quickly. So at 50, I had already been an exec VP for a global branding firm for almost 20 years. And I was doing all-nighters. And I looked in the mirror one morning when I was racing from doing an all-nighter and heading to a big meeting. And I said, I don't think this is what I'm really supposed to be doing here. And I literally changed my prayer, Lord, I'm going to resign this addictive career to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. And I'm still in show me mode. And that was 22 years ago. So it didn't take long for individuals in my network to ask me to help them with their individual brands. And I tried to tell them I didn't do branding anymore. And they told me I never stopped. I just don't charge for it. And they need my help. When I started doing individuals just to help out a couple of people, what I realized is when you help and this has to do with organic health and longevity and mindset and how long we live and how we bring ourselves into the world a lot. When you reach into your own heart and ask your heart, whom give me a person that I really see impacting. I know I can impact them, and I really want to. You do that a few times and write it down in a nice, orderly way, you can create the brand, you can define in language the brand you must get to become to make those impacts. And that's what we call impact-driven branding. Once done, that brand came from your heart. It didn't get slapped on you on the outside. You don't have to become something that's not you. You are you. And what's in our mind is in our life. When we are doing what brings us joy, our lives are fulfilling. We don't have the weight of unhealthy life. We don't have the I hate my job. We have alignment with the impacts we clearly see making. Imagine if everyone who was a solopreneur or everyone who owned a business could wave a magic wand and everything they say and do is aligned with the impacts they clearly see making and really want to make. That's what I get to do every day. You can call it branding, and technically it is, but I would rather call it branding done right from the heart so that people not only get to step into a more successful business or calling or work or whatever they they want to call it, but they build a platform from which it's much easier to step into why they're really here.
Many of my listeners are, in fact, in a phase of reinvention. And I myself just went through a series of pivots. I just, by the way, celebrated my 80th birthday last month.
Congratulations. I love that.
And I've made a number of pivots since I retired from medicine, which was, over 20 years ago.
Whoa.
First, I became a travel, food, wine, and ballroom dance cruise writer. and then after I experienced really a catastrophic spinal problem and emergency surgery, I reinvented myself as I understood the power of epigenetics to alter how we age. And that gave rise to my brand, which is Growing Older, Living Younger, with the objective of helping people understand that they can achieve healthy longevity, in other words, a health span, without necessarily having to go to all the latest, biohacks and technologies, but by modifying their lifestyle in key ways. And then I also became a first-time entrepreneur at 70 when I became a New Skin brand affiliate and representative. And basically started using their anti-aging skincare and their nutritional and nutrigenomic supplements. And so now, here I am at 80, and I think my Growing Older, Living Younger brand fits me pretty well. What do you think?
It sounds like it does. I like it. By the way, I know New Skin. And by the way, I learned ballroom dancing when I was in 7th grade, and I won the award 2 years in a row for waltz and for jitterbug. So we can talk about that too. What's in our mind is in our life. And we get to make choices, and the choices of what we say, the choices of what we put into our mind. Let's be specific. The media we listen to, our sources of information and our sources of food are hugely important. You can change your life significantly. Specific example, just by using media sources that are truth and not stilted by somebody who's got money behind the media. You can change your physical life significantly by getting the GMO oils out of your kitchen and putting in coconut oil and a really healthy olive oil. It's like, well, that sounded really trivial. It's not. It's like huge. I keep reaching for my coffee. It has coconut oil in it. It creates ketones and connects the synapse of the brain. It's like, come on. So yeah, I got Peter Diamandis' book Longevity on my counter. It's a regular read, and I would recommend it to anybody as it gets started.
I think you'll enjoy my book, which started out, it's called Growing Older, Living Younger, The Science of Aging Gracefully and the Art of Retiring Comfortably.
Good for
and
you.
It started out as a science of aging book, and which I realized I really didn't want to write. And it ended up as a memoir that sort of chronicles what happened after my surgery and how I discovered how to empower myself to change my aging through my seven simple pillars. So it's really a series of stories with science interwoven. And it really, for me, emphasizes the fact that I've interviewed so many longevity experts, many of whom are promoting a specific technology or biohack. But for me, it gets down to the simple things of lifestyle. And from the nutrition point of view, I basically think I do exactly what you recommend. So I practice intermittent fasting, dinner around about 6, latest 7. And really, basically, my breakfast consists of a cup of coffee with cream. So it's not really breaking my fast. And then I eat somewhere between 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending. So like a 16 or 18 hour fast.
Good habits. The body loves you.
But, you know, it's so interesting when I talk to people, people say, I can't fast. There's no way I can do it. And they don't think about the fact that while they're sleeping at night for whatever it is, I mean, they're in a fasting state. So,
or they're not thinking about the fact that our bodies were created to fast because the cavemen, they didn't eat 3 meals a day. You know, they ate when they got food. You know, so it's like our bodies are trained to fast and to preserve themselves and to live off fat. And that's what they're trained to do. So people don't know that. There's a lot of misinformation. You know, the whole fat thing that was ridiculous for so many decades.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
yeah.
my gosh. Don't get me started on that. And when you say
won't.
there's a lot of information, I think, to me, the hardest thing for almost everyone to navigate is the plethora of information, much of which I think is really biased. But let's just think about somebody who is either starting to think about how they want to change their purpose and their mission, how they maybe write a book or step forward with a podcast for their first time. How would they go about taking the first important step in thinking about how they want to, well, I'll use the word brand themselves for want of a better reason?
Well, it's a very common and very good question. The world makes people misunderstand what branding really is because most of the people who are using the term are selling some kind of marketing execution element and are saying this will be good for your branding. Even branding consultants use, let's call it Milton model neurolinguistics programming, attracting language to make you think you need a guru, when actually real branding done right is a series of steps. And if you don't do the steps and you don't do all the steps, or you get them out of order, bad things happen. I'll make one example, which is really, really common. And it's an extreme example, but it's not uncommon. People say, look, we can't really afford branding, so we just need some leads. Just get some leads and we'll worry about the branding later. That mindset has created more confusion and more misinformation about who people are, what they're really outstanding at. They are not going to get credit for what makes them outstanding because there's no consistency. And consistency is absolutely mandatory. And to have consistency, you've got to lay the groundwork of definition and language so that it can be consistent across the board. And how you show up, how everything looks, what people say about you, more language that comes back. It's a process. And so for an individual that's in the position you described, the absolute best first step is to close your eyes. And imagine what you want to do, let's call it your brand or your work or your calling, thriving. In other words, everything you're doing is working. It's successful. Put on a weekend retreat, it's well attended. You write a book, people say it changed their lives. Everything you're doing is successful and your eyes are closed and you're picturing it. Question is, what are you doing? What are you doing? And make sure you're only doing things that bring you joy. And have that picture. So if you want to speak, great. If you don't want to speak, you want to write? Great. You know, whatever you see doing, take that picture and then ask your heart, give me one. Whom do I clearly see impacting? And focus on the impacts and what they are. What's the first impact that this person is going to experience? Like somebody who doesn't know how to eat, someone who's been raised and isn't aware that how important sleep is, or how, you know, when they eat is, or what they eat. And they're starting from scratch, you know. And you can impact them because for some reason something's happened in their life and they're ready and they're open and they're saying, I want to learn. And you can impact them. What's the first step? Is it mental? First step, they reframe how they see themselves or reframe how they see the world? Do they take on a new skill set or mindset? Do they then get new result? Like there's a list of increasingly higher level impacts that you see and your eyes are probably still closed on that person that you ask your heart to give you.
Rich, I need to thank you for this, but I would really like to follow this up with a full-length podcast for the Growing Older, Living Younger podcast. In the meanwhile, I want to thank you for this powerful and purposeful conversation. Listeners, you'll be able to learn more about Rich and his brand mentoring work by checking links in the show notes. And I want to thank you for joining us for the Podapalooza 2025 edition of Growing Older, Living Younger. If you're enjoying this fast-paced, idea-rich conversation, please be sure to share this episode and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, stay vibrant, stay purposeful, and keep growing older, living younger.
Thank you. Be blessed.
Thanks for tuning in to Growing Older, Living Younger. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, leave a rating and review and share it with your friends. Tune in every week to learn how you can change your aging at the cellular level to stay healthy, happy, and vibrant. Remember that in this podcast, we share information for educational purposes only, and the content does not provide medical advice. As you contemplate your own roadmap for healthy aging, be sure to discuss your intentions with your medical or other qualified, certified health practitioner. And until next week, dance every day.